For GateWorld.net, I'm Darren Sumner. David Reed and I are here with Mr. Corin Nemec. Jonas Quinn on Stargate SG-1. Thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, right on. What's up, GateWorld? All you GateWorlders. Crazy GateWorlders.
Let's start off by going back to your original casting as Jonas back in late season 5 of the show.
Yeah. The casting process actually for me for Stargate was really cool because I didn't have to audition for it, which was surprising. I mean, it wasn't like it was a right place, right time moment,
Nice.
And I was actually at the MGM. They don't have studios anymore, but I was at their where their offices are, and I was auditioning for this little independent film. And I was out in a courtyard area, just rehearsing my dialogue and everything. And the casting people from Stargate walked by, and they knew me from previous stuff, and they just stopped and we got to chat for a little bit, and they were like, "God, you look so much like Heath Ledger." You know what I mean? They're looking at each other like, "Yeah, God, you look like Heath Ledger. Yeah, you look like, yeah."
Especially the way you're.
And they're like, we just got in today. We got this part for the show called Stargate. They're having a new series regular on it. You just awesome for it. You look like you'd be perfect. And they literally had just gotten it that day. They were just starting to talk about casting, and so. At the time, I was sitting there going to audition for a little independent film that was probably going to pay $100 a day. I'm like, am I interested?
You kidding?
So it was really cool, and so they sent some tape over, some of my real of my work that I'd done and everything, and they sent it up here to Vancouver, and the guys Brad Wright and all them checked it out, and it worked out. Really, it worked out great. It was really cool. Really, really cool.
So when you look back on that experience now, the whole season that you spent there, and you did you did an episode before and a few episodes after, what stands out in your mind when you remember Stargate?
Really, I think just the it's interesting because working on Stargate, it's like it's as cool as the show is to watch. It's like the whole adventure of it, all the adventures that you go on, the obstacles that you have to get over, the predicaments that you get caught in, the great writing, the dialogue, the different relationships. It's just like, what I remember is it's like I feel like I was on SG-1. You know what I mean? It's like, as silly as that sounds, it's like that's what it feels like, because you film all of those scenes. You do everything that you watch in the show, you actually physically get to do. So it's like you've lived it in a weird way,
I'm sure it's hard work working 12 to 14-hour days, but still it's fun playing Space Hero.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, actually, on this show, it's like there's such a well-oiled machine. 12 hours is the average. Sometimes we'd even get out before 12 hours, and plus it's an ensemble cast, so it fluctuates on how much time you spend on set. If your character's a principal character in that episode, you're going to be on set more, but you still might end up with a day off. Yeah. So it's like, it was pretty rare that every cast member shot every single day of every episode. You know what I mean?
You were pretty dramatic in your change of physique. Was that your idea, or were you asked to get pumped?
No. The physique change actually was my idea, and it came from, because when I did the last episode of season 5, I was much trimmer, and but when I worked with with Chris Judge, number one, it's just seeing how big he is, you know what I mean? I realized that if I didn't bulk up, that I was going to disappear on screen, you know what I mean? And Richard Dean Anderson's like 6'3", you know what I mean? He's like a really tall guy, and so it's like I just knew that, with the cast being as big and as tall as, as everybody is, even Amanda Tapping, she's like 5'10" or whatever, so it's like, I knew that I just had to bulk up, so I spent the three or so months between when they wrapped that before when they started the season 6, drinking like 4 weight gainer shakes a day. I'd go to the gym twice a day. Wow. I'd go in the morning and the afternoon. I literally was in the gym like almost 6 days a week practically, for that full 3 months, and I put on, close to, almost 30, like 25 pounds or something,
Wow. It was substantial.
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, I the clothes that, I went up, like 4 pant size. You know what I mean? Literally. So I put on all of that bulk, and it was funny because I bulked up for the show and everything, and then it took me like like, wow, I mean, it took me a while to, like, finally, like, get it off, you know what I mean? So it was just like, once I trimmed back down to, like, what my weight pretty much was before going on to the show, everybody was like, are you sick? Are you okay? You look so thin. I'm like, check me out in everything I did previous to Stargate. You know what I mean? I look exactly the same.
So you didn't like it that much to keep it on afterwards?
Well, I didn't see the point of it, because as an actor, it's about versatility, and for me, the majority of the parts that I played didn't require the necessity of that kind of bulk. And now with memory muscle, it's like I can work out for 3.5 weeks, and just like the difference in how I look is crazy. So I don't really worry about it too much. You know what I mean? It's like if I need to get big for something, I can get big. In the meantime, I just I run a lot. I stay healthy. I keep myself trim and like I guess what people call fighting shape. You know what I mean? Fighting weight.
Now, when you got on the show, you and Jonas both had a tremendous burden replacing a popular character, a popular actor on the show. Do you think that Jonas was given a short shrift by fans?
No, actually, I think that initially the initial backlash from a very small core, outspoken group of the fandom, had a bit of a volatile reaction, you know what I mean, to it, which is totally natural. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like that's not my line of work. You know what I mean? It's like I'm an actor. I'm coming in to do my thing, and so it wasn't challenging in that respect. And interestingly enough, I'd say 95+% of the fan base grew to like the character and accepted the character overall. Especially by the time season 6 ended, I think people were all pretty much like, okay, I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? For the most part. And but coming in on the set and everything, it's like it could have been more difficult, except that everybody is just so cool. You know what I mean? All the actors and everybody is just so
very welcoming.
Yeah, just so welcoming and really just like laid back and also they wrote the character in really well. They gave a nice arc. You know what I mean? Where it's like the character had to prove himself, and there was the push and the pull of it all. And
so, Colonel O'Neill.
Yeah, so they allowed that organic arc to take place, which also assisted in the development of the character relationships and everything.
Jonas does definitely have his followers, though. He has his fan base. Tell us about your interaction with those guys and gals.
Yeah, the fan base for it's interesting. I think that the most extreme fan base for Jonas was the OJBs over in England and Europe, which was the Order of Jonas's Banana, which is it's a little phallic, but they would show up at the conventions with capes on that says OJB on the back in yellow, and they constantly gave me gifts of bananas and things that have to do with bananas and pictures of me, superimposed as a banana. And, you know what I mean? So, in fact, they gave me, one time over in England, they brought me a 10-pound bag of sponge banana candy. Those little spongy bananas, you know what I mean? Cool. It was like a 10-pound bag, And I'm just like, this is hilarious. Yeah. So, that's probably the most, on the most extreme side. Yeah, but.
Do you even like bananas?
Well, the whole banana thing came from an episode, where I'm eating the banana in outer space and everything, which was, the funny thing about that was like, it came from the scene itself, which was just a scene of me and Tilk in outer space having a conversation, and it's like, I was walking around, I was like, dang, how can we make this scene interesting? It's like, there's got to be something, Fortunately, Peter DeLuise was directing that episode too, so I was over by craft service, and I'm just like standing there, I'm walking, looking around, I just see a banana, I'm like, a banana in outer space. It's like, that's it, it's like in the middle of the conversation, he pulls out a banana, he starts eating the banana, at the end of the conversation, he offers it to Teal. You know what I mean? He offers one or whatever. So I went to Peter DeLuise with, with the idea. Like, a banana in outer space. I like it, So
it's right up Peter's alley.
Yeah, so we shot it, and it just it just made something interesting out of what otherwise would have been a pretty standard, you know what I mean?
Yeah, flat.
Two guys talking scene, you know what I mean? So out of that, and I do believe that I'm probably the first banana in outer space. I think I might be the first guy to eat a banana in outer space in any film or television show known to man.
There's a distinction. So you did about 26 episodes of the show. Some you got to be featured in pretty prominently, Descent and Prophecy, and you contributed the story for Fallout.
Yeah.
Which episode really stands out in your mind, or maybe part of an episode?
Well, it's interesting because one of my favorite episodes is Nightwalker, which was more of a kind of an X-Files-ish kind of feel, and it got the characters off base. Still, you're still in the U.S., and there was this kind of like real mysterious thing, and there was a lot of character development, some interesting scenes, and that to me was actually one of my favorite episodes to shoot.
What can you tell us about coming up with a story idea for Jonas's return in Fallout?
Well, the Fallout, it's like Brad Wright, Rob Cooper, all those guys. They're really, really cool guys, and they said that they're always open to storylines. If I ever thought of anything, come to them, and pitch it and whatever. And like so, I spent a greater part of season 6 doing just that. I'm like, yeah, Brad, it's me again. I got another idea for you.
What have I done?
Yeah, exactly. So I might have pitched like five possible storyline episode kind of things, and they gave me like they were really cool. They helped me. They gave me like how their beat sheets look, how their how their pitches, how you pitch the episode. They really they were really cool about it. And they get so I really like I got to so I could write them correctly. I could write the pitches correctly and everything, and then me and Rob Cooper beat around a little bit of one of the stories, which became Fallout, which initially my working title for it was Deep Core because of like the core and all of that. So I just had a working title, you know what I mean, and so from that you know what I mean. They bought that story from me, which was really cool because writing is like my second greatest passion, and so to finally get like a story credit and and get a little something out there as a writer was it was a big win for me.
Was it first about the core? Did the gold come in later?
Well, no. I see. If I remember correctly, the original, like kind of the original storyline that I had was sort of like there was a coup happening at the same time. You know what I mean? That Daniel Jackson's character gets caught up in, and while I'm stuck, under, in the core thing, and they're going to sabotage the mission, and then they have to stop them, and there was this whole like, it was just too big of an episode, really. But the idea of the gold was primarily their introduction was an introduction of that character in the storyline. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that Jonas's story is complete? Have you did you generate any pitch ideas after Fallout? Do you think?
Well, after Fallout, I tossed around the idea of doing of pitching some more possible storylines. Things, other things got pretty busy for me at the time and everything, and but as far as I would love to do more stuff with them as a creative team. As far as what happened to the character of Jonas, after Fallout, you know what I mean? It's like, who knows? I know that there was I think there was an episode later on that season where they mentioned his planet or something.
Yeah, it was occupied by the Ori.
Conquered by the Ori.
Yeah, something like that. So it's like, there's something interesting that you certainly could go back to, even from an Atlantis, point of view, because they at least established that they're, that it's a planet that they knew some people on, and now it's occupied or whatever. Who knows? But so there's certainly, it sounds like there's some storylines, some possible storylines in there. And now that I got this, this crazy look, you know what I mean? You just find me like stranded on a deserted planet.
Gone underground.
Yeah, totally.
So what other projects are you working on now that fans can look for you in?
I got a couple projects coming out this. I have a film called High Hopes coming out in the next couple of months through Lionsgate with me and David Faustino and Jay Muse. It's a comedy. And then later on in the year, Ted Bundy will be coming out. I played Ted Bundy.
Wow.
And that's gonna be pretty cool. Yeah, it'll be interesting. And then outside of that, I have a production company with David Faustino from Married Children, and we have a pilot that we shot that we put together with a guy named Sam Cass, who's a writer producer from Arliss and Seinfeld and some other stuff.
Cool.
We've been shopping that. We're waiting this week. Basically, we're gonna hear back from networks if we're picked up. We pitched to about five of the major networks.
Great. We wish you all the best.
Yeah, thanks.